Welcome to today's video. If you're interested in understanding the deeper philosophical insights into relationships and respect, you're in the right place. Today we're diving into a concept introduced by one of history's most influential philosophers, Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche's exploration of masculinity, respect, and power has sparked debates for over a century, offering us a perspective that challenges conventional thinking about what it means to be a man who commands true respect, especially from women. In this video, we'll focus on a key idea from Nietzsche's work that addresses the question: what kind of man do women truly respect? Nietzsche's thoughts are often controversial and thought-provoking, but they provide valuable lessons that can resonate even today. His views on strength, character, and independence offer timeless guidance on how men can achieve a level of respect that isn't just earned, but deeply felt. So, whether you're familiar with Nietzsche's philosophy or just discovering his ideas now, this discussion promises to offer a unique perspective on respect, power, and masculinity. Stay with us as we explore the intricacies of Nietzsche's philosophy, focusing specifically on the qualities he believed were necessary for a man to earn the respect of women. For Nietzsche, respect is not something that can be demanded. It is something that is earned through one's character and actions. The character traits that command true respect, particularly from women, are deeply rooted in authenticity, integrity, and consistency. Nietzsche believed that a man's ability to remain true to himself, regardless of external pressures or societal expectations, was the cornerstone of respect. A man who acts in alignment with his deepest values and who displays inner strength in the face of adversity is someone who others, including women, will respect. One of the key character traits that Nietzsche emphasizes is honesty. A man who is honest with himself and others exudes a sense of trustworthiness and reliability. Women, in particular, value transparency and sincerity in a partner, as it fosters a sense of security and emotional connection. Nietzsche's ideal man does not hide behind false facades or try to impress others with superficial qualities. Instead, he embraces his true self, flaws and all, and is unafraid to show vulnerability when necessary. This authenticity resonates deeply with those around him and earns him genuine respect. Another important trait that Nietzsche highlights is the ability to take responsibility for one's actions. A man who owns up to his mistakes, learns from them, and does not blame others for his shortcomings is seen as mature and accountable. This sense of personal responsibility is an attractive quality, as it shows a man's commitment to self-improvement and growth. Nietzsche often spoke about the importance of facing life's challenges head-on, and part of that involves acknowledging when we are wrong and making amends. This trait, rooted in humility, is a key factor in earning the respect of others, especially women. Furthermore, Nietzsche stresses the importance of having. When we think about respect, it's easy to associate it with power, the ability to influence or dominate others. However, Nietzsche draws a distinction between two important concepts: strength and power. In his philosophy, strength is an inner quality, a measure of one's resilience, self-discipline, and integrity. Power, on the other hand, is often external. It is associated with the ability to control or command others. Nietzsche suggests that while power may be impressive in the short term, it is strength that commands true, lasting respect, especially from women. Strength, according to Nietzsche, is the ability to endure, to persist in the face of challenges, and to stand firm in one's convictions. A strong man does not rely on external validation or use others to achieve his goals. Instead, he draws upon his inner resources and personal will to navigate life. This is why Nietzsche argues that strength, rather than power, is the foundation of true respect. It is the steady, unwavering character of a man who refuses to bend to pressure that earns the admiration and respect of others. This type of man does not seek validation through domination, but through the authenticity of his actions and decisions. On the other hand, power, when misused, can be seen as a superficial trait. Nietzsche warns that men who seek power for its own sake, who try to dominate or control others, often lack true respect. They may inspire fear, but they do not inspire admiration. This is particularly relevant in the context of relationships, where women are more likely to respect men who possess strength over those who rely on power. A man who seeks to control or manipulate his surroundings is not seen as genuine or honorable. Instead, women respect men who exhibit the strength to act independently and with integrity, regardless of the external circumstances. In modern society, the line between strength and power can often become blurred, especially with the rise of social media and the influence of external appearances. But Nietzsche's teachings remind us that Friedrich Nietzsche's perspective on masculinity is not a conventional one. In fact, his writings challenge the societal norms that have defined manhood for centuries. Nietzsche does not offer a simple definition of what it means to be a man. Instead, he presents a vision of masculinity rooted in strength, willpower, and the pursuit of greatness. According to Nietzsche, true masculinity is about transcending the limitations imposed by society and embracing one's own unique potential. It is not about conforming to expectations, but about breaking free and forging one's own path. Nietzsche also emphasizes the importance of the Übermensch, or overman, as the ideal of human development. This figure embodies self-mastery, creativity, and strength, standing above conventional morality and societal constraints. The Übermensch is not bound by traditional gender roles, but instead represents a person who creates their own values and lives according to their own will. Nietzsche argues that men should strive to become their own masters, constantly pushing the boundaries of their own capabilities and seeking self-overcoming. In contrast to the image of the passive, dependent man often seen in modern society, Nietzsche's ideal man is active, assertive, and self-reliant. He believes that respect is earned through strength of character and the courage to live authentically, rather than by adhering to social norms or expectations. For Nietzsche, true masculinity is not about dominance over others, but mastery over oneself. A man who respects his own values and is unafraid to challenge the status quo will naturally command the respect of others, including women. Ultimately, Nietzsche's view on masculinity encourages men to embrace their inner strength and live with a sense of purpose. It's about becoming an individual who is not afraid. One of Nietzsche's most profound beliefs about masculinity is the idea of self-reliance and independence. For Nietzsche, a man must first and foremost be independent in order to achieve respect, particularly from women. Independence, however, is not simply about being financially self-sufficient or physically autonomous. It's about cultivating a mindset and a lifestyle that is not dependent on others for validation or direction. A truly independent man lives life according to his own values and principles, carving his own path without being swayed by the opinions or expectations of society. This sense of independence is tied to Nietzsche's concept of self-overcoming. Nietzsche believed that true growth and personal development could only occur when an individual breaks free from external influences and begins to shape their own destiny. A man who actively seeks to better himself, regardless of the obstacles in his way, becomes a figure of strength and respect. This doesn't mean living in isolation, rather it's about maintaining the freedom to think critically, make decisions without external pressure, and pursue goals that align with one's true self. Women in particular respect men who have a clear sense of direction and do not rely on others to define their worth. Moreover, independence in Nietzsche's philosophy is deeply tied to the idea of self-realization. This is the process of becoming who you truly are beyond the roles and labels that society may impose. A man who has realized his potential and is actively working towards becoming the best version of himself embodies a sense of purpose and conviction. Women are drawn to men who have this level of self-awareness as it signals emotional maturity, confidence, and a strong sense of identity. The independent man, according to Nietzsche, is one who is constantly striving to improve himself, not for the sake of approval from others, but for the intrinsic satisfaction of self-actualization. Nietzsche also warns that dependence, whether emotional, intellectual, or physical, can lead to a lack of respect. A man who is over Nietzsche's philosophy, though rooted in the 19th century, holds significant relevance in today's world. In a time when traditional gender roles and expectations are being challenged, Nietzsche's ideas on masculinity, respect, and strength resonate more than ever. In modern society, the pressure to conform to certain standards of success, appearance, and behavior is immense. However, Nietzsche's teachings encourage men to look beyond these societal pressures and focus instead on internal growth, authenticity, and independence. The qualities Nietzsche valued, strength, character, and self-reliance, remain timeless in their appeal. One of the most significant modern implications of Nietzsche's philosophy is the call for men to embrace vulnerability and self-awareness. In today's world, where emotional expression is often seen as a sign of weakness, Nietzsche's ideas challenge this notion. For Nietzsche, true strength lies not in suppressing emotions or hiding weaknesses, but in confronting them head-on and using them as tools for growth. In a world that often values stoic resilience over emotional honesty, this aspect of Nietzsche's philosophy is particularly important. Men who can confront their own vulnerabilities, acknowledge their emotions, and still carry themselves with strength are those who command true respect. Additionally, Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch remains a powerful ideal in modern culture. The Übermensch, or overman, represents the ultimate form of self-actualization and personal power. A man who has transcended societal norms and created his own values. In a world that constantly pushes individuals to fit into predefined boxes. The idea of the Übermensch encourages men to break free from conventional expectations and live according to their own principles. Modern men who dare to live authentically, challenge societal expectations, and pursue their own vision of success are often the ones who earn not only respect but admiration from those around them. Finally, as we reflect on Nietzsche's vision of masculinity, it becomes clear that the kind of man who commands respect is not defined by external power or domination, but by inner strength, authenticity, and a commitment to self-realization. Nietzsche's philosophy challenges us to look beyond the conventional notions of masculinity that society often imposes and instead focus on becoming the best version of ourselves. It's not about adhering to rigid gender roles or societal expectations. It's about embracing our unique qualities and living a life true to our values. The qualities Nietzsche championed, independence, strength, self-awareness, and the courage to live authentically, are timeless. In today's world, where superficial success and external validation often take precedence, these ideals offer a much-needed alternative. A man who respects himself, who is willing to face challenges head-on and continuously improve, is the kind of person who naturally earns the respect of those around him, including women. It's not about conforming to any ideal. It's about forging your own path and living with integrity. So as you move forward, remember Nietzsche's teachings as a guide for navigating life with strength and authenticity. True respect comes from within and is earned through the consistent display